No,
it's
Olis
not.
there. Cool.
It's not doing it. Now streaming live. Hello, everyone. Welcome. We are live. We are live. Sorry about that. We've had a technical problem this morning. We were trying to use something else and it didn't quite work.
It looks really, that new platform looks really cool, and it worked in the practice, and then it just didn't work in reality, did it? So we thought we were going live, and then we realized we were, as ever, actually, it's probably quite a common thing, but we were definitely talking to ourselves this morning.
We were, which some would say that's actually a good thing.
Some would say it's an improvement on normal. But so we rapidly regained, and we've come back to you on Zoom. So we know it's working, and I can actually see now that it's live on Facebook, so I'm happy with that. So that's one step ahead as we were earlier. It's amazing how these things work in practice, but never in reality.
I know, you read the comments, you practice, you spend hours working out how it's going to work, and then nothing.
No, and it's I remember when I was training for ministry, they'd always say, make sure you have a backup plan. And it was great. And I remember doing a service once. I had everything on PowerPoint ready to go for the service, all groovy, all done. 2 minutes before, it just died. The computer stopped, everything died. So I had to go back to, you've gone.
Oh God, hang on. Hello.
You're throwing yourself today. So everything just stopped working. So I had to go back to manual, rapidly look up the hymns and then do it. It was after the service, when you calm down and you'd stop going, because it had all gone wrong. I realized my error was something really simple and fundamental.
Okay, what was that?
I'd not turned the plug on.
Always the way. Always the way.
Ran out of juice. It was just so embarrassing but funny. So what have you been up to this week?
This week, let me see. Do you know what I've started doing? I've started drawing.
You've started drawing?
I've started drawing. So the other day I noticed that there's a lot more people doing arts and crafts and painting and things like that. Now, I'm not a good painter. Okay, my dad is actually an artist, believe it or not. But
can I actually say, having seen you paint a room magnolia, I can confirm you're not a good painter.
Thank you. And most of it probably ended up over the carpet, I believe. I was cleaning the carpet.
Did, but I never knew you could make a plain wall striped. But Neil achieved it. It was very impressive.
So anyway, back to me.
Sorry, back to you.
So I've started painting. Well, I'd say it's more drawing because I feel my art is my medium actually is line drawing. So I started yesterday. What do you think? What do you think of that? Is that
it's very line.
It took me about 3 hours to do.
Okay.
So I thought, right, it's meant to be someone drinking a cup of tea in front of a window. See, you can see the window, and there's
why does the bloke look like a turnip?
A turnip? Oh, what with the Well, I just finished watching Blackadder at the time. So obviously that was in my head. So So I know that you've been drawing, Michael.
I've had to go. Well, it's my daughter my son and daughter are more artistic than me.
Yeah.
And, they've been doing stuff. My daughter's she's bought herself a sewing machine and been doing sewing things. So I lost a pair of trousers the other day that I mentioned in passing that were getting a bit short. The next thing I turned around and she's wearing my trousers as a dress. She'd repurposed them into a dress. So I hide away. So I had a go. Took me about 5 minutes. And came up with that.
Wow, 5 minutes. That's absolutely amazing, Mike. So a candle with the jigsaw. Explain to us your picture.
Let me take off the background so you can see it clearer.
Okay.
Because it's disappearing otherwise. So apologies for the mess, Mrs. Viewer, but there we go. So it's a candle, a light in the darkness, because we've got some difficult things happening at the moment, and we need a bit of hope, a bit of light in the darkness. The candle flame. It's awful when the camera's opposite, isn't it?
Yeah.
And this is a bit like, hello.
You're doing well. Keep going.
The candle. Where is it? The candle flame is a Maori symbol for life.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And you can see that. Where's it gone? You can see the light radiating out, but you got the shadows. Groovy. But our viewers probably wondering what what are those pieces called? Jigsaw pieces are.
Jigsaw pieces. Yes. So we've got yours, and we have mine. So
it only took me 10 minutes.
One was 4 hours. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay,
But
right.
the
That's
jigsaw
painting
pieces
finished
missing are
with.
quite significant because I think that ties in beautiful snowy scene again, so you can't see my messy shelves behind us. It's I've lost my virtual background. I'm trying to be groovy and it's not working. But there it is. The missing jigsaw pieces tie in with something that's happening at the moment. And for me, I've said before to viewers that I've struggled with PTSD, and I've just started treatment again with combat stress because of my role in the army. And sometimes for me, it feels that there's pieces missing of thoughts and memories, and it's not all quite there, and it doesn't kind of fit together right. And at the moment, there's quite a bit of a mental health crisis, a pandemic in the mental health world almost going on because people are struggling being alone, being at home. And that's particularly relevant among young girls, apparently. Well, and Ollie might say something more about that in a bit, but we've reached a crescendo really this week with the pandemic, haven't we? Very sadly, yesterday, 100,000 deaths, which is... last March, we just couldn't have even perceived that. It's just shocking, really. It really is shocking. And it was, it's just so sad. And especially that news comes the day before Holocaust Memorial Day, which also remembers shocking events of the war. And I'm going to mention, Paul Deach, one of our local councillors, who put an amazing post up on Facebook about his visit to... where was it he'd gone to?
Was it Auschwitz?
It was Auschwitz he went to. I was just looking it back up to make sure I got it right, Paul, because it's just so important. And he visited Auschwitz and the impact that had on him. So Paul's of Jewish heritage, you won't mind saying that, and puts that on the post, but the impact it had. And I think this is something I would encourage our listeners actually to just look up Paul's Facebook page. It's got the one with the blue radiating from his head. Sorry, Paul, that's not the most gracious of descriptions. But it's a phenomenal post. And I think for me, the huge takeaway of this Holocaust Memorial Day this year, the theme for it is light in the darkness. And that's very much about how it should be. We must never forget. We must make sure and do everything in our power to ensure that an atrocity like that never happens again. But the sad news is we know that genocide, and that's the right word for it, has happened time and again in so many different places. And we've got to make sure as a world we work to prevent it. And it's, Paul, thank you for your post. Thank you for reminding the community that it's Holocaust Memorial Day. And I encourage the whole community tonight at 8 o'clock to light a candle and put it in your window to remember those lives that were lost as a result of the atrocities, the word, I just can't find the words for the disgust I feel for what was inflicted upon fellow human beings, upon our Jewish brothers and sisters. It's just unacceptable. It's despicable, abhorrent. The words aren't enough. So I encourage you, our listener tonight, to put a candle in your window at 8 o'clock to remember those that have died as a result of the Holocaust, and to remember those that have died, and also to pray that we'll all work together to ensure that these despicable acts never happen again. So thank you, Paul, for putting that up. But there is the biggest one from Holocaust Memorial Day this year is there is light and hope in the darkness, and that's something to take away. And God gives us that light and hope. Anyway, that's me on send.
Have you? Okay, all right.
I'm finished now, but it's important. It's important.
You touched on mental health, so we've got Ollie waiting in our little green room.
I need to let him in, don't I?
You need to let him in, yes, because we're going to talk about mental health and young people. So we have Ollie here. Hello, Ollie.
He's not here yet. He's coming.
He's coming.
He's got a long way to travel. He lives in Lightwater, so sometimes it takes a while.
Okay.
Hi guys, I'm having issues with my video for some reason. I think it's because I'm still on the other. Program. Hold on, let me just get rid of that.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh, we can see you now. Oh, you've changed your background.
Oh.
Now, Ollie, do you want to switch your background over because it's a little bit?
I will switch my background.
We need a bit more fire. There we go. That's it.
That's better. Yes, excellent.
I do like your fireplace.
Look at that.
I love your fireplace. It's
gorgeous.
Thank
you. Yeah, it's lovely. It's a shame it's not. It doesn't work. But yeah, it's very nice.
It don't work. That's a letdown.
I know. It's well, we rent this house, and I think they find it easier for building regulations. I don't know.
Okay, we're going to start a new feature now. It's called "Let's Have a Look Around Ollie's House." So we've got the clock as well on the mantle, but you always have to have a clock on the mantelpiece, don't you?
You guys were talking about art. There is a picture. Becca and I, that's my wife. We used to have a rabbit who used to live over there, and it died a couple of years ago. And Becca drew that picture over there that you can see on the wall of the rabbit.
Could you go and get it?
I was going to say you're going to have to get it.
You're going to have to go and get it. Yeah. So. Okay, so that's it. Ollie's gone to get the picture of the rabbit, and so we can. Oh dear.
He's pulled redecoration time.
Wow.
Wow, that's cool,
there, guys.
That knocks your picture out, Mike, as well.
Okay, Ollie wins.
Ollie wins on that one.
For now.
And your lovely wife's a teacher, isn't she, Ollie? Oh, hang on, he's not putting his ears in.
I just realised I couldn't hear one word that you guys are saying. Then
that's probably sensible. Your lovely wife's a teacher, isn't she?
She is. She's a primary school teacher. Year 2. I can actually hear they're actually on. She's upstairs and they're on their group Zoom at the moment. It's one of my highlights. You can hear all the kids like going, "Hello, Mrs. Deeks." It's great. I love it. It's really nice.
I was going to say, how's she coping? So she's teaching from home then?
Yeah, she is. She's teaching from home. How's she coping? Yeah, she's finding it hard. It's she has to make 3 videos a day, and and then like have resources on top of that as well, and then Zooming every day and phoning children and phoning up the parents as well. So she's very, very busy. She's got a lot on. She had a bit of a meltdown the other day because her computer kind of gave up, and she's like, "Well, how am I going to do my work?" And her heart is to be with the children and the
I think it's with a lot of teachers. I think that's the thing. They want to be in that classroom. They want that personal. But obviously, with the laptop, how are you coping? Because a lot of people are saying about internet connection and things like that. Is your internet connection? Because obviously, both of you are zooming probably all day and doing things on your laptops. How is the internet for you guys in Lightwater out there in the sticks?
It's the end of the cable there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hey, Lightwater isn't that bad. I remember the first lockdown, my internet was shocking, and then I actually called up BT, and they brought some engineers around, and they managed to make it much faster. And so, like, we've not had any issues since then. So,
good.
Yeah, we're okay. I think we're getting by. Sometimes my internet goes a bit dodgy, but hopefully it'll be all right for this.
But it's tough, isn't it, for those teachers that are trying to do it from the thing. And I don't know if you spotted on Facebook yesterday, there was a wonderful letter from a head teacher in London who sent to his parents. And there's a wonderful, apparently the letter actually went out, and there's a paragraph in it saying, and we thank the parents for those that have felt it appropriate to email teachers personally and criticize the lessons they're doing. And, we appreciate the comments. And after several years of training in education and university, if you think you can do better, feel free to apply to be a teacher. This is how you do it. And I'm sure that this time next year, there's going to be plenty of teaching vacancies. So if you're that keen, please apply. And I saw it on one of my former school. So I used to be working a school in Germany when I was there with the army as a chaplain, and it was on one of their Facebook pages. And apparently the person who posted it knew the head teacher, and he did send it out. But it just says it all, how quick people are to criticize when actually being a teacher is such a professional role. It's horrifically stressful. And they're doing the best they can. And it's, my wife is a teacher. She doesn't do that at the moment, but works in a school and finds, the stress levels are horrific at the moment. And it's not just here in the UK. I've got friends who are teaching in Dubai, and their stress levels are huge. But you work in a school as well, don't you, Ollie? What do you do?
I do, yes. I head up Camberley Youth for Christ. We're a Christian youth work charity, and we work in local schools around Camberley. So secondary schools, Collingwood, Thomascote, Gordon's, and King's. At King's International, that's where we're based. So we've had to pivot and change a lot since COVID and all the restrictions and everything. And I've mainly been focusing my time at King's because we don't want to mix going between the different schools just because of spreading the virus and stuff like that. So I've been doing more work at King's, and I've been, I guess at the moment you mentioned about there is a pandemic of mental health at the moment. And so we are providing pastoral support to the school. You know, the schools are under a lot of pressure, and you know, you look at mental health services like CAMS as well, they're under a lot of pressure, and they get a lot of bad stick, CAMS, but I do feel for them, because it's just, they don't have the resources, they don't have the I don't want to say manpower, but they just don't have the numbers of.
They don't have the staff, do they?
They don't have the staff. Yeah.
It comes down to money at the end of the day with CAMS, doesn't it? Really, they haven't got the budgets to pay for the professionals. Now, with Youth for Christ, I mean, I'm a volunteer. Youth for Christ. I'm sure Mike, if he had time, would probably volunteer for Youth for Christ as well. With you go into the schools, but your volunteers are trained, aren't they? You run a training scheme for them.
Yes, yeah, we make sure that all our volunteers are trained. We have recently done some mental health first aid training, which Neil, you joined in with.
I was there,
which was great. We had some money that was made available so that we could do that. And we do, you know, if we're doing mentoring and a person wants to join our mentoring team, then they need to be properly trained and, you know, make sure they know all the safeguarding, they know how to run the course. So we do provide training in any of the youth work that we do in the schools.
And have you been able to, what have you been doing, you know, with the lockdown? Have you been doing some of the mentoring and the mental health support remotely with the kids?
Yeah. So we've moved online, and we have, because of the nature of Zoom and online work, we have two leaders on one call with one young person.
Yeah, safeguarding.
Yeah, so safeguarding. So we and we have to have parental consent as well. So once that's all set up, and we've limited our sessions as well, so they're just half an hour rather than we'd normally do around about 45 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. But we find Zoom fatigue can kick in, and you know, the young people are doing all their lessons online as well.
Fatigue.
So we're just Zoom fatigue. Yeah, have you not heard of that?
I've not heard of that one. No.
Oh, yeah, it's a real thing. It's a real thing.
Oh, wow.
If you have back-to-back Zoom stuff, you just feel knackered at the end of the day, and that's because of Zoom fatigue. So yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yes. So we've been doing a lot of mentoring online, which is great. And one of the schools, we hadn't heard anything back, and then all of a sudden they got in contact with us and said, yes, we want your support, we want your help. So it's been great having that opportunity again. And at Collingwood, I think we've got a list of 20 young people that need our support, which is fantastic. Well, it's not fantastic. It's really sad that this many young people need the support, and there's more than that as well. So we've got our volunteers that are getting ready and supporting young people one-to-one via Zoom.
But also, as well as doing obviously the Youth for Christ and everything like that, Ollie, that's not enough for you, is it? So you volunteer to go in your PPE. Mike's actually doing this as well.
I was about to. I was forming a sentence as you beat me to it, and but I was going to say to Ollie, it's nice to see you with normal clothes on for a change.
But it's why is that, Mike?
We did rehearse this, honestly, folks.
Yeah.
So myself and Ollie have been going in a couple of times a week, assisting with the swab testing in the school, the lateral flow tests.
Yeah.
And it's quite funny. We're in neighbouring cubicles, and we kind of peer over the top at each other in between things. And we PPE'd up with aprons, masks, visors, and things. And then we take people and gloves. And we take people through the testing process, and try not to gag as they gag, as they swab the things. It's really good to do, isn't it?
It is, yeah, it's great. I think, my heart is, online's fantastic, but you can't beat face-to-face interactions. And face-to-face sounds a bit wrong in this pandemic, but wearing PPE, of course.
Yeah.
And, the school, I actually saw it on the news that the schools, they need to do these testing. And I was like, okay, so Kings will have to do that. So I'll send an email to see if they need any support. And then they were like, yes, please, we'd really value your support. So I just kind of like jumped on in doing that. And my heart is to be with people. And, we've been testing a lot of the teachers, because I guess a lot of the young people are not at school, although schools are still open for the vulnerable and the key worker young people. So there has still been a bit of contact with them, but Yeah.
And it is funny though, because I don't know if Becca's got it, but my wife's got a testing kit to bring home, being a primary school teacher in a primary school. But we clearly don't trust our secondary teachers because we have to supervise them. So, but it's but it was originally set up, wasn't it? Because the plan on the first day back in January was to test every single pupil. By the end of the first day, that had changed slightly.
Yeah, I know. I did. I really felt for the people that have set it up, like Christabel, who's at King's. She spent so much time getting it all ready, and then all of a sudden, for the government to make that decision, literally in the blink of an eye, I felt really sorry for them.
And I think what's worse is she'd not just. Yeah, they wanted it set up for the first day back after Christmas. So these staff, the head at King's, the head of health and safety and others, the senior leadership team, spent the whole of their Christmas holidays setting this up. So abandoned their own time with the families and their loved ones to do it. And that's real dedication. And that's the dedication of teaching in schools that people aren't seeing. And they abandoned that to do it. And then for the government to change it. But talking to the government, did you notice last night? I'm just looking at your lovely hair, Ollie. I'm very jealous.
No, thank you. It needs a cut, Mike.
I was going to say, Mike, could you suggest to your hairdresser, please? Have you got their details?
Yeah, it's Mr. Phillips, and he lives at number 1. No, but saying that, Ollie, you know, your hair's looking. It's leading to something, so go with me on this. Your hair's looking very good and fluffy. I think you've used products since Monday, haven't you?
Oh, yes. Ollie always uses product in his hair. It's like, you imagine if you imagine a group of people standing in the wind, okay, and their hair sort of flowing around, Ollie's will still be perfectly slick, and he'll walk in, and it'll be like,
mine doesn't flow around in the wind either. It's because of the product. But I got last Father's Day, I got L'Oreal beard and hair wash. It's really nice, but I've been using it for a year and I've still got half a bottle left. So says it all. But did you notice yesterday? You know, our esteemed Prime Minister came on TV to tell us this horrific news, but his hair looked fluffy. It looked like it had been looked after for a change. He'd not brushed it. He'd not done. You know, it was still kind of. But it did look like it was had some product in it.
The thing is, when you were a kid, all right, and you were about to go out, your mum would say, "Go and brush your hair. You're not going out like that." They should have someone like that at number 10. Boris, go and brush your hair. You're not going out like that.
Maybe we could get an infrared thing that, you know, when he walks up to it, it says, "Brush your hair." Yeah. It's a bit like being in the army. And I have it here, you know, just before you go out the front door, there's a full-length mirror.
Yes.
So that you can check what you look like. And it was something that, having been in the army, you always, you know, before you went out your office, you had a full-length mirror so you could check your berry was straight and you looked okay. So I've got one here. Maybe that's what he needs.
No, what he needs is, you know, when you go to shops now, they have the traffic light system. Green if you're okay, red if you're not. They used to have someone standing there going, no. Oh, yes, I must go and brush my hair. Yes, hair.
The only downside is he'd never do any press conferences.
Well, they're all done in number 10 anyway, aren't they? It doesn't go, anywhere.
That kind of leads to another one. I did see, you know, and I hope he's doing okay, but we've not heard from our own MP for a while in any of the press conferences. So I'm hoping Michael's okay, because he's not been on there for a while. But it has been nice, though, seeing the Prime Minister address the nation a bit more than he did in the first lockdown. Well, he did. It has been tough. And it's good to hear that the vaccinations are going well as well.
They're flying in from all over the world now, aren't they? These companies seem to have got it right, and they're all. But apparently there is going to be a bit of a hiccup though, because we're out of the EU now. They're saying that there's going to be a little hiccup with the what's the names which are coming in from Europe.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I did notice last night on the news. My parents live in the northwest. You know, obviously, clearly the best part of the country.
Oh yeah.
You're from up that way, aren't you?
Well, northeast.
Where are you from?
I'm from Sheffield.
That's not northeast.
Well, it's north.
Seriously, man.
That's metal country, isn't it? Sheffield, metal country.
It's
steel country.
It's more
steel country.
It's more east than west.
Yeah, but it's not northeast. That's Newcastle and Sunderland and.
Okay. And do you know what? I think Ollie's parents, they decided, right, okay, so we're going to separate ourselves even more from Ollie now.
They did.
We no longer in Sheffield. We're going to Scotland. So they moved up Scotland. Ollie moves down south. It's like there's got this big divide now, even bigger in the middle.
Not just anywhere in Scotland though. The Highlands of Scotland. You know.
Oh,
They've gone really. Where have they moved to then, Ollie?
So they're in a place called Pitlochry, which is
Crikey. That is the Highlands.
It's just in the Highlands, really.
Yeah.
It's lovely. So nice there.
do they say about your southern accent when you go up there? Do they say, "Oh, crikey, you're so southern now"?
Yeah. I think my Yorkshire accent has been watered down quite a lot since I've been down here. So I noticed that actually I get more Yorkshire when I get to see my parents. Not Scottish.
Where's your brother live? Because he lives down this way as well.
Basically, we've got the whole of the UK covered. My family. So I'm in the south, in Surrey. Yeah. Then my brother's in Birmingham, so Midlands.
Birmingham.
And then my sister is in Leeds.
You're gradually working your way up,
and then my parents are in Scotland.
I've got to tell a story about your brother though, Ollie, because I went with Ollie when I first got here. I went with Yo, who was our youth worker at the time, to a conference in Birmingham at the where was it at the NEC, wasn't it?
NEC,
yeah, and it was a great youth work convention. Was great, and I thought, blimey, Ollie's been a bit rude. He walked past me and didn't say anything. I thought, you absolute rude. That's just not on. And I even went, "You're right, Ollie." And he just went straight past. And then I saw him 5 minutes later and went, "Crikey, how did he do that?" And I went, "All right, Ollie." And he went, "Oh, Mike, how are you?" We had a conversation. Then I saw him another hour later and he ignored us again. And I'm thinking, what's going on here? Is this something weird? And it was at that point I was told that Ollie had a twin brother.
That's right. That's correct.
An identical twin brother.
Yeah. And not only is he a twin brother, Ollie, who does he work for?
He works for you for Christ.
So they even had the same top on.
Do you know what my brother's wife's called as well?
Becca.
Well, she's a Rebecca, yeah.
Really?
No.
Really?
Yeah, I assure you, different people. We don't share a wife. Different people.
I know, but yeah.
And what's your brother called though? He's not an Ollie as well, is he?
No, he's a Josh.
A Josh, yeah.
Is it Joshy?
It was quite funny when I realised it was kind of that makes sense now.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun with that. There was a time that we were at Soul Survivor, and my brother wasn't there, but I was there, and my brother just got engaged. And this girl comes running up to me and goes, Josh, you're engaged. And of course, you've got to have a bit of fun, being a twin and everything. So I was like, yeah, I'm engaged. And she was like, I was like trying to tell her the story of how, so of course I knew how it happened. And then about 5 minutes into the conversation, she's like, you know what? I'm not Josh. She's like, what? And it's like, yeah, Josh's got a twin brother. I'm his twin brother. So. Yeah,
but Ollie,
you got to have a bit of fun with it.
Yeah,
you're saying that. I've got an even worse problem than that. You and your brother are twins. My mother-in-law is an identical twin.
Oh, really?
My mum's a twin as well.
Yeah.
Really? No.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my mother-in-law is an identical twin, and when the kids were younger, we were at their house, and her sister was there, and they look nothing like each other now. They're slightly older. Hi, Miriam. You're lovely. I love you. You're not that old.
Just slightly older. Just slightly older. Yeah.
And she's still in her 60s. Just. But her and her sister changed clothes to see if they could confuse the kids. And it was a bit like that. When you've got a puppy and it looks at something and is kind of looking at it as if to say, I know there's something not right.
Yeah.
But I can't see it. And the kids just looked at him and went, Granny, why have you changed clothes? But they look different now. Yeah, they're very different things. The worst thing is they both live in Northern Ireland, you get them on the phone, you cannot tell them apart. So my wife has worked out that if she knows they're together and she gets a phone call from a mum, that's not a WhatsApp call, so a visual call, she asks questions. Just strategic questioning, because they have done it on purpose.
Okay.
So
twins, gotta do
twins,
it.
Eh? Twins. It's a twin thing, isn't it? It's a twin thing. Got to have fun. So, well, we are coming to an end, I think. We've been rabbiting on away.
He's prophesying again.
Sorry?
Prophesying again.
Yes. So, Thank you very much, Ollie.
No,
today.
pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah, it's great. We are looking for guests to come on. So
And it's great fun, and I'm looking forward to seeing you with your clothes on again on Friday.
Yeah, you too, Mike.
You know, wrapped up in plastic. It's great.
That's it. Yeah,
I'm getting so many things popping into my head at the moment. Which is just wrong.
Yeah, you know, some people though. I'm just thinking of PPE.
Yeah, so's Neil.
Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, I can't. I'm not allowed to come and volunteer. Obviously, I've had COVID, so if you've had COVID, you can't volunteer. I'm not sure what the time span is, but
I think it's sensible to stay away for a bit. I know it's a minimum of it's 90 days. I think
90 days. Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah,
so,
yeah, and I spoke to other people who were keen to volunteer, and I had to say to them, really be sensible. It's not the right thing to do. Let those of us that are a bit fitter do it.
That's being a bit presumptuous about yourself, Mike.
I'm not.
Thank you.
I'm not as fit as I used to be, and I have to say, Ollie is a nutter in many respects because
he runs.
I looked at your Facebook page the other day, and how far did you run on Saturday?
I did 14 kilometers on Saturday.
So about 10 miles.
Yeah, about that.
What was embarrassing about looking at that for me was, believe it or not, and our lonely viewer probably won't believe this, I used to run 10 kilometers a day. Because being in the army, you have to run, don't you? Well, and also being a padre, it's really helpful to run because I don't have a gun, so it's easier running away from people than towards them. Let soldiers do that. I just go, so I used to run quite often, 10 kilometers a day, and some days I'd do more because I'd go for a run in the morning with the guys, and then a friend of mine who's was a warrant officer would say, "Oh, it's a nice evening. You want to go for a run?" And I go, "Yeah, okay." So we go for another run. But then my injuries caught up with me, and my hip's now really bad. And sometimes walking's fun, let alone running. And the advice you get from the experts, the physios who go, when does it hurt? When I'm running. Well, don't run then. Right. So I now look at you jealously actually and think, I really wish I could still run, because I used to do mountain rescue as well. So run up and down hills, and now it hurts too much. And also having a shoulder injury, I discovered that if you've got a shoulder injury, running is really painful because you do that, don't you? So, but the best PT lesson I ever had was somebody teaching us how to run.
All right. Oh yeah.
People might go, what? But it's just how you place your foot on the ground to enable better movement. And I knocked about 30 seconds off my fitness test time just because of the way I placed my foot. I was originally placing heel down, but then it was teaching us, consciously to do it the other way around and go on your tiptoes, on the balls of your feet.
Right. Okay, I'll have to try that.
Ollie's like,
it took a while, but so I used to run. So I was looking at. So are you running a certain distance for charity and raising money? This time?
So for Camberley Youth for Christ, we're doing a fundraiser in March called 100K Your Way, and basically we I guess the reason why we're doing it is because there's so much need at the moment, and because of the pandemic with mental health. Actually, we've got a fantastic volunteer team, and Neil, thank you so much for joining the volunteer team. But we need to employ more staff. And so we're hoping to employ a part-time youth worker. So we need to raise money. So then I saw this 100K Your Way, where basically you have the whole of March to cover 100 kilometers, however way you want to do it. And because I run, I need to challenge myself so people will sponsor me. So I'm doing 10K in 10 days straight. I'll have completed it on the 10th day of March, and hopefully I'll have done 10K.
Have you done like 10K sort of like 1, 2, and 3 days, or to see what it's like?
So in lockdown, I was running pretty much every day. Well, I tried to, but it wasn't 10Ks. I've not done this distance before in that short of a time, and I've realised that 100.
But even in 10 days, because you don't get a rest day in the middle of that, do you?
Yeah, no rest day. Just going for it.
Can I drive?
Can I drive? 10K a day, but I did have a weekend off in the middle.
Yeah, I'll drive 10K your way. I'm going to drive it. There we go.
Yeah.
Ollie, if you have you got a Just Giving page or something?
We've got a page that's all set up on our website.
Is it just you who's doing it?
Yeah, definitely. I'll send it.
We'll put it. And I'll tell you what, Ollie, I will sponsor you.
Hey,
£1 a kilometre.
Oh wow,
that's quite amazing, isn't it?
Don't tell the boss.
Wow.
Don't tell Mrs. T, but I'll sponsor you £1 a kilometre.
Oh, Mike, that's
because
lovely.
I
Thank
think
you.
that's great, and it'd be great to do. And it's just a fabulous charity, Youth for Christ. So yeah, I encourage everyone. Consider what you're doing. Consider what you're doing with your money, what you're not spending it on. Why not sponsor Ollie £1 a kilometre, or even a penny a kilometre would be perfect as well.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, Ollie.
No, Neil's doing £2 a kilometre.
I was thinking more of a penny, actually.
Neil, that was a bad joke that I just made there.
No. I'll
went
match
pale.
that. I'll do £1 a kilometre as well. That's
Oh!
£200. Boom!
Just like that.
Just like that. There you go.
Oh, guys, thank you so much. That is,
When do you need the money?
honestly.
When do you need it?
Yeah, 2023.
Yeah.
I'll send the shouts. I'll send the shouts.
No, that's brilliant. Well done, Ollie. And we must have you back on in March in the middle of it to see how you're coping.
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to do that.
And you'll be a bit more dishevelled with hair all over the place by that point, I'm guessing.
Well, hopefully I'll have a cut. I might have to get the wife to cut my hair again, but yeah, hopefully.
Did you see? Talking of haircuts, did you see the thing on the BBC? This is the final thing we're going to bring up. I hope, because we're going on. On the BBC about the police getting fined in London.
No, I didn't. No.
So there was somebody in one of the police stations thought it was, they thought they were looking a bit dodgy with the hair, so they organised for a barber to come in and cut the hair, and which is highly illegal, of course.
Of course, yeah.
So the Met have fined each of them £200 for breaking the coronavirus regulations.
Brilliant.
Really?
Which is just and also taking disciplinary proceedings because a chief superintendent that I was reading on the BBC said, as police officers, we have to uphold and maintain the law to the highest thing. And it's absolutely right that he said, I can see what they were trying to do and keep them looking smart, but this is a total and blatant breach of the regulations. Therefore, I fine them £200 each.
Brilliant. I think that's so good. I think police, I love the police. My father-in-law, he was used to work in the Met. I have a great respect for them, but it's so important that, police stick to the rules because, they're enforcing the rules.
Absolutely. Anyway, and I think that's all from us. I've got a wonderful snowy scene behind us of a Highcross on Sunday.
It's great,
so I need to go and defrost my room because it's quite cool in here.
Yeah.
Keeping the snow sticking.
I must admit, actually, that is the video, Mike, that you did was actually really, really good.
I'm going to take no credit for that video, and I want to say thanks to Dan Adams for the video and the photo because it was cold on Sunday. I wasn't going out.
I stood inside and took pictures. So yes, thank you very much, Ollie.
Thanks,
No
Ollie.
worries. Thank you, guys.
And see you soon. Hey, send us that link because we kind of owe you some money now.
Will do.
Yes, and we will see everyone next week. So next Wednesday. So Zoomy wave. Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 And this is where it gets awkward because Mike has